Yo guys, it's Pyro, the most overrated element in Genshin. This element is hyped up for the sheer damage it allows through elemental reactions and pyro resonance. Don't forget, there's pretty solid characters in it too, like Xiangling, Bennett, Hu Tao, and Yoimiya, and then a wave of other ones that suck so much that nobody really plays them, or they're just a little bit mid compared to the other ones. With the exception of, I guess, using Yanfei as a shielder or somebody with a C2 Klee who wants to do a big damage nuke. However, in a game where Spiral Abyss is the hardest content and killing things quickly is the goal, why is an element focused merely on damage so overrated in my eyes? Well, for that, I'll get into it, but don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel. To start off, let's talk about Pyro characters, with the best two somehow being 4 stars. It's crazy, right? Bennett and Xiangling, and then Hu Tao and Yoimiya coming up behind them. However, in Bennett's case, the reason he is so good is nothing to do with him being Pyro, it's because of the big attack bonus that he can give to your characters on field, outside of maybe Pyro Resonance or guaranteeing a Pyro swirl with Kazuha or Jean. I'm sure if Bennett was any other element, he would still be used just as much as he is, so he is ruled out, leaving only Xiangling, Hu Tao and Yoimiya as the remaining characters focus on Pyro that have a very big role in this game compared to the other one. Like Amber, Diluc, Thoma and Xinyan, you can't really even find a use for them to begin with. And Klee and Yanfei are just overshadowed by other Pyro DPS or shielders in Yanfei's case. And just because 1 or 2 characters in an element is overpowered, it doesn't make the whole element overpowered. Or that would be like saying Electro is overpowered because Raiden exists. This moves me on to break down Xiangling, Hu Tao and Yoimiya individually. Xiangling is an off-field pyro unit that does heaps of damage and mostly paired with people like Child and Xingqiu in national teams, or setting up melts for Garnu. The reason why Xiangling is so good is because of her element and the fact that she is free, does damage off the field, and is AoE, which in my eyes paints Pyro to be better than it is, as Xiangling is really the only Pyro character you need in this game to clear most content, especially that she sets up reactions for your other characters or can make use of reactions for herself. Now, as a Hu Tao main, it pains me to say this, but she isn't really as great as she once was. I feel like back then Genshin was only about hitting the biggest number, but with newer enemies and characters being added, it makes Hu Tao sort of fall behind. Hu Tao is single target and so is Yoimiya, but at C0, Hu Tao's damage tanks as of stamina restrictions, and playing Yoimiya without a shield, it really isn't fun. My main issue with Pyro 5 stars as a whole though is that they are all DPS, encouraging no reason to pair them with any wide range of team cons, and they all use Xingqiu as their best hydro applicator, apart from Xiangling, but only because she is off field. Sure, in Yoimiya's case, Fischl is great if you have C6, but in most scenarios, you're not going to have a C6 Fischl because she's barely on any banners. If you pull for 2 Pyro 5 stars specifically, there isn't really much opportunities to play both in a Spiral Abyss rotation, and in my eyes, there aren't really much points to play them over Xiangling, as not only is she off field, but as of right now, there aren't any enemies in the game which you really need Pyro for. For instance, there are no Cryo Abyss Lectors requiring Pyro to break their shield, Pyro Rift Hounds, as Rift Hounds resist every single element apart from the element that they are, or bosses like the Golden Wolf Lord who need a Geo in order to fight it. So given that Xiangling is AoE and off field, most of the time I see myself just playing her when I do things like the Spiral Abyss. Also, it could be argued that Yelan makes up for the Xingqiu issue, but as of right now, her Hydro application is worse than C6 Xingqiu's, unless you get her to C2, meaning your teams are way more restrictive that way. Because in a team where you're using a Pyro main DPS, they are your main carry, and they need to be doing all the reactions so that they can do most of the damage. Whereas, say in like a national team, it doesn't really matter who's doing all the reactions. Everybody gets their fair share, but you don't see a damage loss. And sure, it can also be argued that Hu Tao and Joy shine against boss enemies or single target scenarios, but most characters that are AoE in this game do enough damage, like Raiden, Ayato, Ayaka, Ganyu, Zhao. I could honestly go on. And most importantly, Zhang Ling, the free Pyro 4-star you get at the start of the game. So it kind of leaves you in a place that, in my eyes, Hu Tao and Joy don't really outshine the AoE DPS that I just mentioned beforehand for them to be that much greater in a single target scenario. Maybe, however, it's not that Pyro was overrated, but that it lost its throne over time, especially with Diluc being the best character at the beginning of the game, but is literally nowhere to be seen now, or Zhang Ling being free, and also for the duration of when Hu Tao was released, she made numbers which were absolutely unheard of before. But with newer supports allowing you to use, I don't know, an Electro team with Raiden, Cryo teams, Geo teams, and any element team at this point, Pyro just doesn't hold out to be the best in my eyes, where I honestly feel that Cryo has overtaken its place. And if you want a video on that, let me know in the comments below. However, this is going to be the end of the video, so if you all enjoyed, tell me your opinion down below, and I will see you all around shortly. Have a great day.